There's a strange silence that follows a breakup with a dismissive avoidant. It's not the kind that invites closure. It's cold, detached, almost indifferent. They walk away as if they've erased every memory, every touch, every word you ever shared. You're left wondering how someone could seem to forget you so easily, while you're still struggling to breathe through the emptiness. But what you don't see, what happens quietly long after the dust settles, is that even the most detached avoidant eventually feels the weight of missing you. It just happens differently and often much later than you'd expect. At first, they convince themselves they're fine, that losing you means freedom, not loss. They return to their routine, find comfort in control, the same armor they've used all their lives to protect themselves from vulnerability. They bury the breakup under distraction. Work, hobbies, shallow connections, anything that keeps emotions at a safe distance. Because for them, to feel deeply is dangerous. It means opening old wounds, rejection, abandonment, shame, things they've spent years learning to suppress. But time has a way of peeling back those defenses. Silence begins to echo. And in that space, where no one is left to mirror their worth, the first flicker of longing appears. It's not dramatic or sudden, it's quiet, confusing. A song, a scent, a simple routine that used to include you. That's how it starts. The mind resists, but the body remembers. The nervous system remembers the safety you gave them, the emotional warmth they could never fully admit they needed. You see, dismissive avoidants don't miss people the way most do. They miss the peace they felt with you, the predictability, the gentle presence that never demanded more than they could give. They miss the version of themselves they were when you were around, more open, more human, more connected. But the tragedy is they often don't recognize it as missing you. They tell themselves they're just nostalgic or tired or craving stability. They rationalize what is essentially heartbreak. The truth is, missing someone for a dismissive avoidant feels like losing control. And control is their lifeline. So instead of leaning into that pain, they fight it. They shut it down with logic. We broke up for a reason. It wasn't working. I'm better off alone. These thoughts become a shield against the raw truth that they actually cared more than they allowed themselves to. The inner conflict becomes a quiet storm, pride versus pain, fear versus love. This phase can last weeks, months, even longer, because avoidants move through grief like they move through love, slowly from a distance. But when reality starts to hit, when no one else feels as safe, when no conversation feels as real, when they realize connection without vulnerability is just emptiness, that's when missing you becomes undeniable. The regret starts to surface in moments they least expect. They find themselves scrolling through old photos, replaying inside jokes, or remembering the way you used to look at them, not with judgment but with understanding. That kind of acceptance is rare for an avoidant, and once they lose it, they start to see how deeply it mattered. They realize that what they thought was freedom now feels like isolation. And what they thought was control now feels like emptiness. Psychologically, this is the turning point, when their avoidant defenses begin to crack under the weight of emotional truth. They start to experience something they've long denied, yearning. But instead of expressing it, they internalize it. It shows up in irritability, restlessness, insomnia, or even a sudden urge to check your social media, just to see how you're doing. They might convince themselves it's curiosity, not care. But deep down, they're searching for connection again, only now they no longer know how to reach for it. When a dismissive avoidant finally misses you, it's not just about missing you. It's about confronting the emotional intimacy they spent years running from. Missing you means facing their own emotional poverty, realizing that pushing people away doesn't protect them, it isolates them. For perhaps the first time, they understand that love isn't a threat to independence, but a mirror to their inner wounds. And that realization can shake them to their core. Because for avoidance, regret isn't loud, it's silent. It doesn't come with tears or apologies, it comes with awareness. It's waking up and realizing the person who made them feel most seen is gone. It's understanding that all the control in the world can't substitute for genuine connection. It's remembering your voice in the quiet moments and wishing they had the courage to tell you how much you meant. But here's the hard truth. Even when they miss you, they often won't come back right away. Because missing you means being vulnerable again, and that terrifies them. They may think about you every day but still stay silent, trapped between longing and fear. They'll rationalize staying away, telling themselves it's better this way, yet their heart keeps pulling them back to you in ways they can't explain. For you, it's tempting to believe that their silence means indifference. But more often it means conflict. Their logic says don't reach out, but their emotions whisper, you lost something real. That tension can last for months, an invisible battle that plays out in the quiet corners of their mind. And every time they miss you but do nothing, the regret grows a little stronger. This is why many dismissive avoidants return long after you've already moved on. Because it takes them that long to face what they've avoided all along. That love requires vulnerability, and that missing someone doesn't make them weak. It makes them human. If you've ever loved someone like this, know this. Their missing you isn't proof that you should wait. It's proof that you mattered even if they couldn't say it. Their journey is about learning to confront their own walls, not about you proving your worth. The most powerful thing you can do is continue healing, continue growing, and let time teach them what they once took for granted. Because one day, when the silence grows too heavy and the distractions stop working, they'll finally realize what they lost wasn't just a person. It was a chance at real intimacy. And by then, the only question left will be whether they've grown enough to do something about it. When a dismissive avoidant finally reaches the point of missing you, something inside them begins to unravel. It's not an explosion of emotions, it's a quiet collapse. The walls they built to protect themselves start to feel like a prison. They begin to notice the emptiness between their daily routines, the silence after they come home, the absence of someone who used to understand them without words. That's when missing you turns into a form of reflection, or in some cases, obsession. You see, for a dismissive avoidant, missing someone isn't linear. It comes in waves, moments of deep longing followed by denial. They'll try to bury the feeling again, convincing themselves that they've moved on, but something always brings them back. The human mind has a way of revisiting what's unresolved, and in their case, you were never fully processed. They didn't allow themselves to grieve properly when it ended. They avoided the pain then, and now it demands to be felt. This delayed grief often turns into regret. But regret for an avoidant isn't just about losing you. It's about realizing the cost of their avoidance. They begin to see the pattern, how every time things get real they pull away, how they mistake closeness for danger. And now, alone, they begin to connect the dots. You weren't too emotional, too intense, or too needy. You were simply asking for the kind of intimacy they weren't yet capable of giving. That realization can be brutal. It forces them to confront the truth they've been running from, that their avoidance isn't strength, it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being seen, fear of needing someone. And in missing you, they finally see how much that fear has cost them. At this stage, many avoidants experience a deep internal conflict. On one hand, they want to reach out, to see if the door is still open. On the other hand, they're terrified of rejection or of losing control again. That fear often keeps them paralyzed in silence, watching you from afar, maybe checking your stories, asking mutual friends how you've been. To you, it may look like indifference, but behind the scenes, their mind is looping with, should I say something? Would it even matter now? Some will try to reconnect indirectly. A casual text. Hey, I just wanted to check in. Something neutral enough to protect their ego but meaningful enough to test the waters. It's not that they suddenly found the courage to be vulnerable. It's that missing you became too heavy to ignore. For the first time, their need to reconnect outweighs their fear of intimacy. But here's the truth you need to hold on to. When a dismissive avoidant reaches out, it's not always a sign that they've changed. Missing you and being ready for love are two very different things. Missing you can be driven by nostalgia, loneliness, or even ego, a desire to see if you still care. True growth, on the other hand, requires them to face their emotional patterns, to understand why they pushed you away in the first place, and to take responsibility for it. Without that inner work, they're likely to repeat the same cycle: closeness, fear, withdrawal, regret. If they do come back, the best thing you can do is to meet them with calm clarity. Not anger, not bitterness, and not naive hope. Just truth. Let them see that you've grown beyond the dynamic that once kept you both stuck. You can acknowledge the connection you had without reopening old wounds. And most importantly, don't abandon your boundaries for the sake of nostalgia. The version of you that loved them before was learning what love requires. The version of you now understands that love without emotional safety is just pain with a prettier name. Sometimes the greatest act of love is letting someone feel the full consequence of their avoidance. Because that pain, that emptiness, is often the only thing powerful enough to wake them up. When they finally see that you're no longer waiting, no longer chasing, no longer trying to prove your worth, they're forced to face themselves. That's when real change becomes possible. Psychologically, this moment is profound. The avoidant begins to experience what's known as earned attachment awareness, when the loss forces them to reflect on their emotional defenses. They start to see that vulnerability isn't a threat, it's the foundation of real connection. And if they're willing to do the inner work, therapy, self-reflection, emotional accountability, they can slowly learn how to love differently. But you can't do that work for them. You can only stand in your truth, as a mirror they once ran from but now finally understand. And if they never come back, it doesn't mean your love failed. It means your presence served its purpose. You were the mirror that revealed what they couldn't see in themselves. Sometimes you're not meant to stay to see their transformation. Sometimes your absence becomes the teacher that your presence could never be. So when they finally miss you after the breakup, when they sit alone and think about everything they lost, remember this: it's not about you being unforgettable. It's about the fact that real love leaves an imprint, especially on those who tried so hard not to feel it. You showed them something real, something rare. And whether they ever say it out loud or not, a part of them will always know you were the one who made them feel alive, even if it scared them. And for you, the lesson is this: you can't heal someone by breaking yourself. You can love deeply without losing your boundaries. You can forgive without reopening the door. Missing you may be their wake-up call, but moving on is your healing. You deserve a love that doesn't require you to earn it, that doesn't punish you for caring. So keep growing. Keep choosing peace over chaos. Keep choosing self-respect over emotional guessing games. Because the right person, the one who's ready, won't be terrified of your depth. They'll be drawn to it. They'll meet you in the middle, not run from the closeness. And if that dismissive avoidant ever circles back, you'll know what to do, not from fear or loneliness, but from wisdom. You'll know whether their regret is real growth or just temporary discomfort. You'll know whether to open the door again or to smile, wish them peace, and keep walking forward. Because healing isn't about proving you were worth missing. It's about realizing you never needed their validation to begin with. If this message resonated with you, take a deep breath and remember, missing you is their lesson, but healing is yours. And if you want to keep learning about emotional attachment, self-worth, and real love, hit subscribe, stay connected, and keep choosing yourself. Your story isn't over yet, it's just beginning.